Now you record.
Yeah.
Right. My camera sucks. It won't work for crap. And now you decide to record.
Yeah.
Hey, that strikes me like S4 strategy discussion. It's very similar in the fact that people don't know what the hell they want to do.
Okay.
What software should we pick? ECC 4.7, S4, Bond, Oracle. Hell, we got to do something.
So I assume you want to talk about something about going to S4 or something like that?
I thought that might have been the plan, but it doesn't have to be. We can talk about S4, yeah. So let me try to plug this wonderful new technology camera back in. It's analogous to S4. See how it works.
Okay.
Okay, I have the dreaded time of understanding where I don't know what in the world is going on. And then my computer doesn't recognize it. So my software is unknown yet. And that's very analogous to the business people that are trying to say, why do I want to waste my time and money to go to a piece of software that I don't even know anything about?
I think that's a good point.
I would argue that 80% of IT believes you need to go to S4.
Yep.
Lots and lots of reasons, be it security, be it new interfaces, be it AI, be it reporting, new functionality, whatever. But I would argue that 90% of business people are going, don't disrupt my business. Don't make me change all my processes. Did I get that right? Did I say that right?
You can say it however you like. It'll be wrong in some part of the world.
They don't want to go through the pain. Oh, look, now I have a different camera.
Oh, you must be on S4.
I think so. I think I just upgraded. You know, the sad part is it doesn't happen that quickly, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I've seen various cases just in my travels around different companies that contact me sometimes, or they're buying training or whatever. Sometimes you get into the conversations of where they're at and what they're doing. And so we have talked about, I think in the previous video, you said if you have another business division that is looking to go off legacy, perhaps put them straight onto S4 and do it basically greenfield, and that's probably a valid strategy. But then you get other companies where everything's on ECC currently. They are wanting to get businesses off legacy systems as quick as they can, and so they see a shorter, cheaper pathway just to get them onto the same platform, and then down the track take the whole lot maybe to S4 at that point.
Yeah, that's a great point, Phil. It's the whole speed cost versus future benefit conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I would agree. I know a bunch of companies that would much rather consolidate onto a platform, pick whatever it is. Typically, it's going to be ECC, you're right, and then go through the pain and agony of moving. And even within the SAP realm, I would argue that for a lot of companies, probably the majority of companies, it's the painful, agonizing, costly process to go from ECC to S4.
So I think that seems to be a factor for a lot of businesses. And then also when you've got VC in the mix as well, there's also a lot of other considerations. And that's probably another part of the strategy as well, if companies are looking to implement the ABC in their future plans as well.
No, and it's interesting because in our last video, we talked about the whole concept of changing your business processes and not changing the software, and strategy that SAP talked about 25 years ago versus the strategy they're talking about today.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same strategy that I first heard when we started talking about going from our mainframe system to SAP. Came in and said, don't change the software, change your business. And they're saying the exact same thing now. I agree with them. I do agree with them. But to the average business person, there is no rationale that makes that worth the pain and the cost of disrupting your customers and your incoming order flows and your deliveries and everything else.
I think so. And yeah, so it's been interesting. And I've seen some companies that like their IT departments have S4 on their radar, but their business people, like you said, it's not on their radar at all, or not that prominent, and they're just struggling with keeping the lights on sometimes with their VC models in ECC 6, and that's probably more about their modeling practices more than anything else. But yeah, they're just trying to stabilize and get in a better place on the VC side, because there's no plan in the immediate future to get to S4. So there's a bit of a dilemma, really, bringing all that together.
Well, that's why I made the point in our last video that S4 is great for SAP. It's great for the consultants. I'm just not seeing it yet for the businesses. So for the IT section of the business, to your point, oh yeah, it's great, because those IT folks, they got jobs for a long time. But for the overall profit loss of a business, not seeing it, and I'm not seeing enough benefit out of S4 to take that, in some cases, multi-million-dollar jump.
Yeah, but I think like a lot of companies have obviously gone to S4. Yeah, and for them, they have weighed up that the timing is good for them. There's things they're seeing in S4 that from a business process point of view will give them benefit, and it might be the wider functionality with integration that they can tie the cost benefit to. And maybe it's a cultural thing, or there's too many older people like us who are just waiting out to retirement day.
Well, hey, don't get me wrong. For almost 3.5 years before I retired, I was the one standing up going, we got to go to S4, and we need to be thinking about it now. We need to be working on it now. And I think a lot of companies are looking at it in a half-assed manner.
So I think there's many paths that companies are taking for whatever reason, and some of it is obviously budget. I think probably the other complicating factor too is COVID is putting a lot of strain on businesses. Like I've seen some of the changes that have had to be made just to cope with the effect of COVID, where your order pipeline, if it's very date driven, suddenly with lockdowns and shutdowns and whatever else, the factories are basically winding down to nothing for a while, and then you've got to ramp them back up and move orders around or whatever it is, and try and not upset the customers too much. So I think a lot of attention has probably been taken away. You see the companies struggle with just keeping things ticking and keeping people employed, basically.
Yeah, and you hear the big push for it, digital transformation. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what exactly does that mean? The company I work for did EDI orders since the 80s. That's digital ordering. That is, you're already there. In certain respects, though, I think COVID has, in fact, pushed the need to do more of that, because I still know a lot of companies that take orders via Excel. And that's stupid. I'm sorry. That's just dumb. Or they transmit purchase orders via PDF or whatever, and that's just dumb. So don't get me wrong. I'm a big advocate of going to S4. I think it's the right thing to do. The problem is convincing your business that the pain of going to S4 is worth the cost of going to S4. Yeah. And that's a strategy discussion that you need to think about. And to your point with all the old people in charge, they need to get pushed out of the way and let the 30 and 40 somethings drive the conversation, because they're going to be the ones that are stuck.
Yeah, because you think at some point there'll be the cost of not going to S4.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember when I retired, there were still 2 companies on R2.
Yeah.
And you think about that and you go, R2? I think I actually ran across one of those companies when I was traveling through Delhi one time, and they did all of the transfers from via this screen that was about this big. It was all green with black with green letters and so forth on a mainframe. It's really took them 2.5 hours to do one simple transfer.
Oh, at least no one's on R1. There was an R1.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's still a bunch of folks on 4.7 too. I hope folks get the idea that if they haven't gone to S4, they need to be looking at S4, and they need to at minimum have a team of IT people figuring out what it's going to take to get from wherever they are now to wherever they think they might want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. And again, to Maran's point, you have to start that now. You cannot wait. The longer you wait, the deeper in the hole you will be.
I think that's probably a good wrap up. Businesses will just have to start firming up their plans if they haven't got one, or if they have got one, start progressing it.
All righty, my friend. Well, in that case, we'll call it a day, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening way down under in the wintertime.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's starting to cool down, and we're probably at that equilibrium almost where you're getting warmer and our getting colder is sort of starting to match up. So
yeah, my bike's not out yet, but I think in another 3 weeks it'll be out. So hopefully, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. But I think the positive thing, Steve, is your S4 camera has worked well now that it's been implemented. So
it does take a little bit of finagling, though. You have to figure out what it is that's causing you the problems. All righty, man. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you.
Righto. Thank you. See you, Steve.
Bye.
Bye.